Hello and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. I got episode number 176 in an ongoing series of live broadcasts designed for folk who understand the real work is getting better at being who they be, not distracted merely by getting better at doing what they do. Well, so first of all, welcome. And if you will, take a quick moment to in the comments, let me know where you're connected in from. I realize over the last several months, I've got much more of a community of Mindset Mondays listeners and participants who are dialing in from all over the world. So take a moment and let me know in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, where you're connected to this broadcast from. Also, if you'll take a quick moment and click share and invite your friends, your colleagues, your community to join the conversation. The more voices, the richer the conversation becomes. Wow. Okay. If this is your first encounter with me, then you don't know yet how committed I am to expunging our language of the shouldy words, right? And because they don't have a place in our language for growth, for motion, for change creation, for action, right? I'm not a fan of the word must. It's one of those shouldy words. Must, need to, have to, ought to. And those are all words that hold an external locus of influence. They diminish our ability to make decisions, and we cede, when we use those words, we cede our power and surrender our agency. They're not helpful in a world where we're trying to create things. They're in a world where they're language that's used for those places where we're doing what society, culture, family say we should be doing. Now, with all of that said, of course, today, this is our quote. You must be willing to let go of the life we plan so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Okay, this might be the most compelling, yes, I'll get to that, use of the word must. We must be willing to let go of the life we plan so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Yeah. So from my earliest dreams about what I wanted to be when I was 5, I was very clear that I wanted to be a speed racer. That was my plan. It may not have been a great plan, but they were brilliant. All of my plans were brilliant. And look, at least in my head they were. But there's a famous quote from Helmuth von Moltke. No plan of operations extends with any certainty beyond the first encounter with the main enemy forces. Or the short version that we've heard 100 times is, no plan survives contact with the enemy. So you consider must in this case as a synonym for being compelled to. There's a difference between must when it is something that is coming from outside, right? You must do this. Society says you must do this. Your faith says you must do this. Community says you must. That's an external. When in order to live most fully in my life, I must because I am compelled to internally. When you hold it as a synonym to compelled, it's got a different flavor. You know, the idea of that shift from caterpillar to butterfly shows up in discussions of philosophy. Oh, so often. Eckhart Tolle played with it when he said, he puts it rather bluntly, what a caterpillar calls the end of the world, we call a butterfly. You know, the caterpillar, in order to fulfill what its destiny is compelled to go through that change. She must let go of what she is in order to become what she is here and what she is meant to be. Lao Tzu says, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. I love that quote. I actually almost used it for this week, and I went digging, and it turns out it's not Lao Tzu, it's one of his disciples who said that, and I don't care. It's still a brilliant quote. Thank you, Agata. It captures this concept beautifully. Look, I loved my career in hospitality. It did that for over a decade, and my career in technology, another decade and a half. It was almost 3 decades across those two careers. And had I not let go of who I was when I was living in those worlds, how can I be living the life that I have created and am still creating today? Like I talked about last week, I mentioned a concept called necessary ending. It's a book that I ran across many, many years ago called Necessary Endings. And that shift years ago, 12 years ago, when I left that last incarnation, when I was done with hospitality and done with technology, and I moved into my coaching profession, that was another necessary ending. The man I was at that time finally became compelled to let go of the life that he had created in order to make room for the expansive world that awaited him or awaited me. And so I come to the question that's been sitting with me is, what must I let go of in order to emerge into the life that's waiting for me? What must you let go of in order to emerge into the life that's waiting for you? We'll make it easy. What must you let go of? Because this is the question. And this is the playground from Joseph Campbell. We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that's waiting for us. Yes, there is a reason that I picked this quote for Independence Day. In the United States, July 4th is Independence Day. We celebrate our independence as a colonial body to an independent sovereign nation. And in order for us to become good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter what you see this country as now, 270 odd years later. At the time, we had to forcibly release and let go of all that we had been in order to become and move into the life, the destiny that was waiting for us. Daniel says the first thing that comes up is fear. Things have been so safe and stable up until now. DA, that's powerful. The thing to let go of is fear that allows you to step into the life that has been waiting for you. For me, I dance back and forth between, in my world, is it the fear of failure or the fear of success that's the stronger fear that must be let go of? And that's a constant query that I'm playing with. Yeah, Agata says, prune to grow. Where Virginia said, isn't it something like a colander? We shake out what no longer serves and belongs in order to find what's important to us and then see where it points us and respond. Look, absolutely. I think there are times in my life where the the holes in the colander are much larger, letting out much bigger parts of my world. And sometimes the fine tuning is much finer. I think that's a great metaphor because we change what we're sifting out depending on where we are and when we are. We don't give up absolutely everything, though. There are times for some people where we do. It can be as simple as letting go of the past, which up until now, if you're letting go of everything that's happened up until now, is that not letting go of everything? There are folks that purge. We just stayed in a place out in LA where the person who owns the house is a minimalist. There's no other way to describe it. It's a fabulous place. It's the first time I've seen empty kitchen cabinets other than before people move in. And they made a choice when they moved out there to let go of almost everything. And so I think there is that distinction. Not letting go of everything, but letting go of everything that doesn't serve. That's a great distinction. And the folks who haven't commented yet, yeah, what else must you let go of? What must you be willing to let go of so as to have the life that's waiting for you? The version of the question that I ask myself is, what am I compelled enough to let go of? And as I set stuff in the colander and begin to sift it out, Mary Virginia, it's what beliefs, what habits, what thoughts, what feelings, all the things that are standing between me and the life that's waiting for me. This is for me personally. Are the bullshit narratives that I make up in my head, the things that I make up I can't do, or I'm afraid to do, or I don't want to do. And I say it like that, I don't want to do, because that's all made up too. Goes back to DA, goes back to Daniel saying, letting go of the fear. Am I compelled enough to let go of the fear? That's a cool playground. You know, when the pain of the status quo finally outstrips the fear of the change, that's when meaningful, lasting change happens. So am I compelled enough to let go of the fear? That's the question that I'll sit with this week. Am I compelled enough to let go of the fear? It can feel scary before shimmying the colander, and afterward the release is lightening and enlightening, a relief and a joy, clarity. It's amazing what sifting out the clutter can do. Thank you. Letting go is what happens when the pain of where you are is greater than the pain of where you're calling to be. True, true. So that's the place to play this week. What are you compelled to let go of? What are you excited about the life that's waiting for you, that you are compelled enough to let go of that which stands in the way? Take that prune to grow mindset with you this week. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Be well.